Let's go. NFL Week 1 Survivor is here. You just gotta love when football season finally gets here after the long summer. Summer's great, but usually by the end of it, you're tapped out and ready to go. And I am ready to start watching some football. So, as I mentioned in the first video, we're going to be doing Survivor Pool for each week until I get eliminated. So hopefully I can help you guys go along the way. If you like it, tail it. If you hate it, fade it. Now, the only problem is week 1 in NFL Survivor is an absolute minefield. It is horrible. I hate it. I mean, last year alone, the Bengals lost to the Patriots, and the Patriots weren't supposed to be good. And I think most leagues had over half of their pool get knocked out in week 1, myself included. It was horrible. And I think the main reason why the week 1 is so hard to predict now is modern NFL treats the first few weeks like the old preseason. In preseason, they play like 3 series now, the entire preseason. And they don't play like they used to do. They in like the third game, the starters would play almost 3 quarters in the old preseason. But now they kind of use these first few weeks to kind of gauge their offense. They're kind of getting into shape still. So you got to be careful in week 1 because it is brutal. The last few years there's been some brutal knockouts in the first few weeks. So we're just going to go on this website called Survivor Grid, and it's a really good website to use for Survivor just to see what other people are thinking of choosing for their team for the week. I think they use data from Yahoo and maybe some other sites, but you kind of just go to this percentage. You want to sort there so you get the top percentages. And it's not going to be exact matching your league, obviously, or if you're doing maybe the DraftKings pool or you're doing the Fanatics free pool, you're not going to get the exact percentages, but it's going to be somewhat close. Here and there might be an outlier where somebody, let's just say they pick, Jacksonville over Carolina. It might go up to like 10%. There might be a few crazy ones like that, but for the most part, it's going to follow this exact percentage. So let's just go through and see who we're gonna pick, right? I mean, I'll kind of give you my thoughts on each one, and there are just some scary ones. Even the good ones are kind of scary in my mind. So it looks like most people, about 25%, according to Survivor Grid, are saying it's going to be Denver over Tennessee, an 8-point favorite at home. Now this one's pretty obvious why it's the favorite. You got the Broncos at home who have higher expectation this year. You got a good coach in Sean Payton, and you have a rookie quarterback in Cam Ward going against the Broncos. And usually rookies, their first time versing an NFL defense, they kind of struggle at least for a little bit. The only thing is, you never know. A rookie can come out and have the game of his life, and there you go. You're out of Survivor week 1. And who the heck wants that? Next up, we have the Eagles against the Cowboys, and that's a big spread. That's 8.5. And this is the home opener for the Eagles. It's the Thursday night opener for the defending champions. So it's one of those hang the banner games. And sometimes you got to be careful with those. We've seen where it hasn't gone well for teams trying to defend raising the banner. And everybody's been kind of talking negatively about Dallas. And, sometimes you don't want to overcompensate. I still think Philadelphia is going to win this game. And I think it can be one of those where either A, Dallas surprises everybody and comes out and somehow wins the game, or Philly's just going to absolutely blow the doors off them and win like 40-6. So that one could definitely be an option that we pick. The next one is Arizona at 13.6%. They're going into the Superdome, which is never an easy place to play, but I just think the Saints are going to be really, really bad this year. I don't see them having a good year whatsoever, but I also don't trust the Cardinals. They can definitely lay an absolute stinker going into there. So that one I'm not really too convinced on. Washington and the Giants. for whatever reason, the Giants, they always tend to play Washington well. Even when Washington's got a way better team than the Giants, the game tends to be close. And it's the home opener. Dable's got an actual quarterback in Russell Wilson. Whether you think he's washed up or not, he's better than Daniel Jones. So that one you got to be careful on. And then you go further down, it starts getting into that sub four point spread, and you just want to avoid all of that. Pittsburgh and the Jets, I mean, that can go either way. You could see either Rodgers tearing up the Jets or the Jets just absolutely getting to Rodgers. So if you feel you have a lean on one of these lower games down here, you can absolutely pick them, but you just got to be careful because it's week one and anything can happen on any given Sunday, especially on week one in this modern new preseason week one football. So try to stay towards the top here. If you think you like one of I would say these top five: Denver, Philly, Arizona, Washington, and Cincy. I think those are the ones you should stay on. For me, I'm going to go with the public. Yeah, I really like having an established coach go against a rookie quarterback that usually tends to do well. Even if they script the plays for the rookie quarterback, Denver should be able to adapt at Mile High, tough environment to play in. I think that's the good pick. Now, I know some of you probably are going to say you should pick Philly, and it was definitely close to leaning to it, but I definitely think Philadelphia is going to win. I don't think Dallas is going to be particularly good this year, but there's always sometimes that Super Bowl hangover, and you never know. A lot of negative news around Dallas. Sometimes they just come out, and you always know the refs love Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, so you always got to be careful just going into that. And the NFL wants a good close ratings game in the first week, so you kind of be skeptical in that area. But I just think that Denver is going to be the safer pick over Philadelphia, and I think they're both going to win, honestly. But I'm going to just survive week one. That's the whole thing. Survive in advance. Don't try to plan in advance, because you try to plan in advance down the road, you're not going to make it there. So just survive in advance. So I'm going to lock it in. We're going to do the Broncos for week one. Hopefully we survive and I see you next week, and we're making a week two. Well, we're picking somebody else. All right, guys. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week for Survivor.